There's so much talk about the French cuisine here on the Champs-Élysées. I love everything about it, but most of all, I love their fries.
Boris Becker was just 1 point away from really getting his traction in this first set. Had break point to put things back on serve. Didn't work there as Pete Sampras has just given away another racket to the stringer.
I had a Big Mac attack. Can't help it.
That last changeover, Sampras looked down at the strings of his frame and realized he was going to lose a racket, so it's being restrung now.
15-0.
And I would think that, Luke, against a guy like Becker who puts so much work on the ball, it buzzes up into your strings. It's easy to miss hit. You can loosen up a knot in your strings. I would think you'd bust a lot of strings against Becker if you string it as tightly and use such thin gauge as Sampras. And now Becker is still talking to the chair. He's really trying to intimidate, you know, not just Sampras, but the chair. Yeah. He wants every break he's going to get, and he's...
Well, here's the view. Look at that. Clearly inside the line there.
30 love.
Zoom that the French cameras give us. Sampras that time giving the clean ace to Boris Becker. Pete Sampras electing to block that return. He does string his racket so tight with natural gut. 65 to 70 pounds in a mid-size frame with natural gut is going to give the stringers a lot of business every week on the tour.
Two fine return winners from Sampras. Said he wanted to make Becker volley. Becker hasn't been able to reach any of these first volleys.
But see, they're not real powerful returns. He takes a very short backswing, hitting it nice cross court. Even if Becker's there, he has to volley up.
Becker.
That one didn't come back, so Becker holds. Sampras, 4-2.
Sampras men par 4-2.
Coming up Monday night on ESPN2, NHL action. The Calgary Flames against the New York Rangers in New York. Ryan Leaf of the Rangers currently leading the Rangers with 11 points in 10 games.
I believe Pete Sampras really made his improvement when Tim Gullickson came on board the Sampras bandwagon and taught him how to be more patient from the ground, gave him better returns. He used to slice his backhand a lot from the ground, really to help him develop. Nice, deep, solid ground strokes that kept him out of trouble. When you have so much talent coming from a player. Here's Boris Becker on the return. Watch his concentration all the way through the strike zone. Like a golf shot where his head is solid.
Ace number 4 for 30-15.
Pete Sampras, of course, being, if not the most talented player on the tour now, one of course, the many talented players with Andre Agassi, Boris Becker. But in my opinion, the most complete player with ground strokes, volleys, serves. This is where the Sampras serve really kicks in. Big moments in games. 30 all now. Expect a big serve from Sampras. Boris Becker, you can't do anything about it. We have a great view of this. Off the same toss, he can go anywhere. So Becker is not predicting where it's going, he's reacting. And when the serve's over 120 miles an hour, you can't react fast enough.
Talking about a complete player, Boris Becker, showing exactly what he can do. There's the trophy, the Tree of Life, also known as the money tree, because you make so much cash if you win it here. Here's Boris Becker, not driving it deep, but a little touch volley, putting a little backspin on it. Here's how he does it. Racket heads up, and he carves under the ball, almost cups it.
Draws it to deuce.
Becker showing some return of serve talent.
Taking the slider from Pete Sampras early. Going cross court with it. It's a real smart play to always return cross court.
Sampras has one break. This is Becker's second try. And he's got a second serve to work with.
Expect Becker to hit and come in behind the second serve.
Yanks that one long. We are back on serve. Becker serving at 3-4 in a moment.
Sampras.
These two met last year in Frankfurt in the final of the ATP World Championship. Sampras, the top player in the world, against Becker, a crowd favorite. After dropping the first set, Sampras won and went on to finish the year as the #1 player in the game. Another classic Sampras-Becker final last year in Frankfurt. And after the quarterfinal win Becker secured against Richard Krajicek in a thunderous battle here a couple of nights ago, Becker once again qualified for Frankfurt. We'll have that on ESPN week after next. In the last 5 years, Boris Becker has won more indoor titles than anyone else. Sampras right behind him.
Boris Becker very strong indoors, proving it today.
Tried to change the direction on that volley. A difficult thing to do. 15-all. Now you could see why Becker would be so good indoors, Luke. Normally an indoor court has more speed than this. He thinks they've mudded up the courts and the balls a little too much, but no wind, no sun. He likes those kind of pristine conditions.
People fear those type of big servers when there's no conditions to mess it up.
Yep.
Jim Courier was saying that maybe they should play Pete Sampras on the dirt in Moscow because it is going to be indoors.
That's what Courier's attitude is. That is, Luke's talking, of course, of the Davis Cup final between the U.S. and Russia. And that, too, will be on ESPN first weekend in December. Yeah, Courier feels like Pete's going to be good on anything indoors. Also on the team, Andre Agassi and Todd Martin.
Both players known for their big serves, showing us some big ground strokes. You can feel the weight of these shots as both players
step into the ball.
Remember a couple of years ago, Goran Ivanisevic got himself to the last moments of this championship, but he was booed by the Bear Sea people because it was all about aces. They didn't like seeing that. Much slower conditions the last 2 years. His Taraflex court takes a lot of spin, and it also takes a lot of speed off the balls. That's why these rallies are going on. That's called out. Game point, Becker.
Pete Sampras had the shot he wanted after hitting a great return to serve at the Becker feet, forcing a high half volley. Did not execute the backhand down the line. Pete Sampras likes the backhand down the line. That passing shot is his boy.
So Becker holds. Even at 4 in this first set.